The night was dark and silent. Clouds covered the sky, and the wind moved slowly through the trees. In a small town far from the city lights, a man named Daniel was driving his old truck home. His little daughter Emily sat beside him, her eyes half asleep. They had just returned from visiting Emily's grandmother. Daniel wanted to get home quickly, but something strange caught his attention. A sudden flash of light cut through the sky, brighter than lightning. Emily gasped and pointed at it. "Dad, look! A star is falling," she said with excitement, but Daniel's heart felt heavy. This was no normal shooting star. The light was too big, too close, and it was burning in a way he had never seen. It roared across the clouds and then disappeared behind the hills with a loud crash. The ground shook under their truck. Daniel stopped the engine and listened. The night had changed. Dogs barked in the distance. Birds flew away from the trees. Somewhere far, he could hear the echo of sirens. Emily pulled at his arm. "Dad, can we go see it?" "Please," Daniel hesitated. He wanted to take her home where it was safe. But curiosity and fear pushed him. With a sigh, he turned the truck toward the hills. They reached the forest edge, and Daniel parked the truck. Smoke rose in the distance. The air smelled of something strange, like burned metal and hot stone. He took Emily's hand, and together they walked into the dark woods. Branches cracked under their shoes. The deeper they went, the stronger the smell became. Then they found it. A small crater was smoking in the earth. Rocks were broken, trees were bent. At the center, not a star, not a meteor, but a strange round pod. Its surface was silver, glowing faintly as if alive. Daniel pulled Emily back. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Suddenly, the pod cracked open with a hiss. Steam rose into the cold night. Daniel's pulse raced. Something was moving inside. Slowly, a figure crawled out, a child. Emily gasped. "It's a girl." The figure stumbled onto the dirt. She looked about Emily's age, maybe 10 years old. Her hair was white, her skin pale. But her eyes glowed softly like blue fire in the dark. She was dressed in torn silver cloth, and her small arms were covered with strange marks, like wounds that glimmered faintly. She fell to her knees, weak and trembling. Emily broke free from her father's hand and rushed forward. "Are you okay?" Daniel grabbed her shoulder, pulling her back. "Emily, stop." But the girl looked up. Tears ran down her face. Her voice was soft, broken. "Help me." Daniel froze. This was no ordinary child. She wasn't human. He knew it the moment he saw her glowing eyes. Every part of him screamed to run away. Yet Emily knelt beside the girl, holding her hand. "Dad, she's hurt. We can't leave her." Daniel shook his head, fear in his voice. "Emily, we don't know what she is." The girl coughed, struggling to breathe. "Please, they are coming." Her words chilled Daniel's blood. In the distance, engines roared. Bright searchlights cut through the forest. Heavy vehicles were moving fast. Daniel could hear men shouting, dogs barking. Emily's eyes widened. "Dad, who are they?" Daniel's heart pounded. He didn't know, but he could guess. Whoever they were hunting this child. And if they found her with him, they would not let his family walk away. The girl gripped Emily's hand tighter, as if she already belonged to her. She whispered, "Don't let them take me, please." Emily turned to her father, her eyes full of tears. "Dad, can she stay with us forever?" Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to say no. He wanted to run. But when he looked into his daughter's face, he saw only hope and innocence. She didn't see an alien. She saw a lonely, hurt child who needed help. The lights grew closer. Voices shouted orders. The forest was filling with danger. Daniel had only seconds to decide. He pulled both girls close and whispered harshly, "Come on, we have to leave." Emily smiled with relief, hugging the strange girl tightly. Daniel lifted the alien child in his arms. She was lighter than she looked, trembling with fear. They ran back through the forest. Behind them, the searchlights swept over the crater. Men in black suits and armored vehicles surrounded it. Daniel didn't look back. When they reached the truck, Daniel pushed both girls inside. His hands shook as he turned the key. The engine roared and the truck bounced onto the road. Emily leaned against the alien child, whispering softly to calm her. The girl closed her glowing eyes, trusting them. But Daniel knew this was only the beginning. Whoever those men were, they would not stop. They would come for her. And now for them too. He looked at his daughter, holding the strange child like a sister. His heart was heavy but also certain. The night that began with a falling star had changed their lives forever. And in the darkness behind them, the hunt had already begun. The truck rolled down the empty road, its headlights cutting through the night. Daniel kept his hands tight on the wheel. His eyes moved to the rearview mirror again and again, afraid of what might follow. Beside him, Emily sat close to the strange girl, covering her with a blanket. The child's breathing was shallow, and her glowing eyes flickered like dim lamps. She looked weak, almost fading. Emily whispered, "It's okay. You're safe now." The girl did not answer, but she leaned against Emily as if she had finally found something she could trust. Daniel pressed harder on the gas. His mind was storming. What had he done, bringing this, being into his home? It was madness. But when he glanced at his daughter's face, full of hope, he couldn't turn back. They reached their small house on the edge of town. It was quiet, the neighbors asleep. Daniel carried the alien girl inside, her weight light as a feather. He laid her gently on the couch. Emily hurried to bring water and a pillow. The girl touched the glass but did not drink. Instead, she looked at Daniel with tired eyes. "Safe," she whispered. Daniel nodded slowly. "For now." She gave a small, fragile smile and closed her eyes. The hours passed. By morning, Daniel woke to strange sounds. He rushed to the living room and froze. The TV was on, but no channel played. Instead, strange symbols and patterns filled the screen, glowing blue. Emily sat on the floor with the alien girl, laughing softly. "She made it work, Dad," Emily shouted. Daniel's chest tightened. "Emily, step away from that!" But before he could move, the TV blinked back to normal. The girl lowered her hand. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, then dimmed again. She looked guilty, like she had broken something. Daniel crouched beside her. "What did you do?" She shook her head slowly. "Fix it." "Machines listen to me." Emily smiled wide. "See, Dad? She's special." Daniel didn't answer. Special was not the word he was thinking. Dangerous was closer. Over the next days, the girl slowly grew stronger. Emily named her Lyra, saying it sounded pretty. Lyra accepted it with a shy nod, but with her came strange events. The lights in the house flickered whenever she felt scared. The radio sometimes played voices no one else could hear. Even the family dog refused to come near her, barking from outside. Daniel tried to keep calm, but each night he stayed awake, listening to distant sounds, helicopters, strange hums in the sky. He felt they were being watched. One evening, while Emily slept, Daniel sat across from Lyra. The room was dim, only the lamp between them glowing. He leaned forward. "Tell me the truth. Who is after you?" Lyra's face grew pale. She wrapped her arms around herself and whispered, "Hunters. They come from the dark sky. They want me dead," Daniel frowned. "Why, what are you?" She looked at him with those glowing eyes full of sorrow. Last of my kind. My home, gone." The words hit Daniel like stones. A child alone carrying the death of her people. His fear battled with pity. But before he could speak, she added softly, "If they find me here, you die too." Daniel's heart froze. That same night, he woke to the sound of footsteps outside the house. He quickly grabbed his flashlight and looked through the window. Two men in dark coats stood near his fence, speaking quietly. They carried devices that beeped and glowed faintly. One pointed toward the house. Daniel's stomach turned cold. They were searching. For her, he rushed to the living room. Emily and Lyra were asleep together on the couch, the blanket wrapped around them like they were sisters. Daniel whispered urgently, shaking Lyra's shoulder. "Wake up, they're here." Her eyes opened at once, glowing brighter in the dark. She grabbed Emily's hand tightly, fear clear on her face. Emily rubbed her eyes. "Dad, what's happening?" Daniel put a finger to his lips. Quiet. The men outside walked along the walls, scanning with their devices. One of them spoke into a radio. "Signal is strong. She's near." Daniel's breath stopped. He pulled the curtain shut and whispered, "We have to hide." He led them to the basement. The small room smelled of old wood and dust. He shut the door softly, pressing his ear against it. Above, the floor creaked as heavy boots stepped around. Emily clung to Lyra, who trembled like a leaf. Lyra whispered, "They know. They feel me." Daniel clenched his fists. He had brought danger into his home, but it was too late to turn back now. The footsteps moved through the house, slow and careful. A glass broke in the kitchen. The men were searching, Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, they'll find us." Daniel held her close, whispering, Not if we stay quiet. Then he heard one of the men upstairs speak. She can't hide forever. Keep scanning. The basement light flickered once, twice, then burned steady again. Lyra's eyes glowed softly as she whispered, "They will never stop." Daniel's heart sank. The storm had only begun. The night was long and restless. Daniel barely slept, his ears sharp for every sound. The basement felt too small, too unsafe. Above them, the house was silent again, but Daniel knew silence could be a trap. At dawn, he moved carefully upstairs to check. The curtains were still closed, but outside, faint tire marks showed in the dirt road. Whoever had searched the night before had left, but not far. He could feel it. When he returned to the basement, Emily was sitting with Lyra, braiding the strange girl's white hair. They laughed quietly as if they were old friends. For a moment, Daniel's heart softened. But then Lyra's eyes glowed faintly again, and the light bulb overhead flickered. He felt a chill. She was not just a child. She was something much bigger. By noon, Daniel tried to act normal. He cooked breakfast, pretending life was the same. But Emily noticed his worry. "Dad," she whispered, "are they gone?" Daniel forced a smile. "For now." Lyra looked at him, her glowing eyes sharp as if she knew more than his words. She touched her chest and said quietly, "They will come back. They always come back." Daniel leaned closer. "Why do they want you?" "Tell me the truth." Lyra lowered her head. "I escaped them. They destroyed my home. My people trusted them, but they lied. They hunt us to the last." "I'm last," Emily gasped. "You mean you're the only one left?" Lyra nodded, her small hands trembling. "If they find me, Earth will not be safe. They do not forgive. They will take everything." Daniel's heart tightened, a child carrying the weight of extinction. But before he could answer, he heard a low hum outside. He rushed to the window. In the sky, several black drones floated silently, scanning the neighborhood. Their red lights blinked like eyes. Daniel cursed under his breath. "They found us." He grabbed a bag, stuffing food and water inside. "We're leaving. Now." Emily clutched Lyra's hand. "Where will we go?" "Anywhere they can't track us," Daniel replied, though he didn't believe his own words. They rushed outside, slipping into the old truck. Daniel started the engine, and the tires screeched as he sped down the empty road. The drones followed, their red lights flashing. One swooped low, almost hitting the truck. Daniel swerved hard, his jaw tight. "Dad!" Emily screamed. Daniel shouted, "Hold on!" But then something unexpected happened. Lyra sat up, her eyes burning bright blue. She lifted her small hands toward the window. A sharp wave of light shot out, hitting the drone. The machine sparked, spun, and crashed into the trees. Emily gasped in amazement. "Lyra, you did it." But Lyra collapsed back against the seat, weak and pale. "Too many? I cannot stop them all." Daniel's hand shook on the wheel. He had just seen the truth. This girl was powerful, far beyond human. And because of that power, she would never be safe. The truck raced into the hills. Behind them, black vans appeared on the road, their headlights glowing like angry eyes. "They're still coming," Emily cried. Daniel pushed the truck faster, the engine groaning. He turned down a dirt road, hoping to lose them in the forest. Branches slapped against the windows as they plunged deeper into the woods. The vans followed, their engines roaring. Suddenly, Lyra grabbed Daniel's arm. "Stop." "What? Are you crazy?" he shouted. "Stop," she said again, her voice calm but firm. "Trust me." Daniel slammed the brakes. The truck skidded to a halt. Emily clung to her seat, wide-eyed. The vans closed in fast. Lyra opened the door and stepped out. Her glowing eyes blazed brighter than ever. She lifted both hands, and the air around her seemed to tremble. The ground shook. Trees bent as if pushed by an invisible storm. Sparks of light burst in the air. The first van swerved violently, crashing into a tree. The second stopped abruptly, its engine dead. The forest fell into silence, broken only by crackling sparks. Lyra dropped to her knees, exhausted. Daniel rushed out, scooping her into his arms. Her body felt too cold, too fragile. Emily ran to his side. "Dad, she saved us." Daniel looked back at the wrecked vans. He knew this was not victory. It was a warning. That night, they hid in an abandoned cabin deep in the woods. Daniel kept the fire low, listening to every rustle outside. Emily and Lyra curled together under a blanket. They looked like sisters now, their hands linked even in sleep. Daniel sat in the shadows, his shotgun across his knees. His mind was heavy. He whispered to himself, "What have I brought into my home?" But even as he spoke, a deeper truth burned inside him. This wasn't about choice anymore. His daughter had chosen, and now, whether he liked it or not, Lyra was part of them. Outside in the cold sky, a distant rumble shook the stars. Daniel stepped out of the cabin and looked up. Through the clouds, a giant dark shape hovered high above, silent but massive. It was not a plane. It was not from Earth. His chest tightened. This was only the beginning. The old cabin creaked in the wind. Daniel sat by the door with his shotgun, eyes fixed on the shadows outside. The night felt heavier than usual, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Inside, Emily and Lyra slept close together. The alien girl's pale face glowed softly in the firelight, her breathing weak but steady. Emily held her hand tightly, whispering even in her dreams as if she was afraid to let go. Daniel rubbed his tired eyes. He had no plan. They could not stay here. The men with vans, the drones, the strange ship in the sky, sooner or later they would all return. And when they did, this cabin would become a trap. At dawn, he made his choice. He woke Emily gently. "Pack your things, sweetheart. We're leaving." Emily blinked, confused. "But where, Dad?" "Farther. Somewhere they can't track us," he said firmly, though deep inside he knew no such place truly existed. Lyra sat up slowly, her glowing eyes dim. "They will not stop. If you run, they chase. If you hide, they search, always." Daniel looked at her. "Then we'll have to be smarter than them." They left the cabin and climbed into the truck once more. The forest path was rough, but Daniel drove hard, pushing the old machine to its limits. For a while, it was quiet. The trees grew thicker, the road narrower. Emily hummed softly to calm Lyra, stroking her white hair, but then an echo. A sound that didn't belong to the forest. Helicopters. Daniel cursed under his breath. Through the trees, shadows moved in the sky. Black helicopters, their blades cutting the air, sweeping the land below. "They've found us again," Daniel muttered. Emily hugged Lyra tighter. "What do we do?" Daniel pressed the pedal. The truck roared, bouncing over rocks and dirt. Branches snapped against the windows. Above them, the helicopters followed, their searchlights flashing through the trees. Then came the ground chase. Black vans burst onto the road behind them, speeding fast, engines growling like predators. Emily screamed. "Dad, I see them!" Daniel shouted. The road ended at a broken bridge. Below was a fast river roaring between sharp rocks. Daniel slammed the brakes. The truck skidded sideways, tires screeching. The vans were closing in. Soldiers stepped out, raising strange weapons that glowed at the tips. Daniel's pulse hammered in his ears. There was no way forward, no way back. Then Lyra placed her glowing hand on his arm. "Trust me." Before Daniel could ask, she climbed out of the truck, standing between them and the soldiers. The air grew heavy. Her eyes burned bright, brighter than ever. Sparks crackled around her hands. One of the soldiers shouted, "Contain her! Now!" They fired. Streams of blue energy shot through the air. Lyra lifted her hands, and the blasts bent away, striking the ground harmlessly. The earth shook beneath her feet. With a cry, she raised both arms. The broken bridge behind them groaned, then collapsed fully into the river, blocking the path. The soldiers stumbled, losing their footing. Daniel didn't wait. He grabbed Emily and pulled her toward the forest path on foot. "Run!" Lyra followed, her glow fading but her spirit burning strong. They ran deeper into the wilderness, branches scratching their skin, their breath sharp in the cold air. At last, they reached a cave hidden between tall rocks. Daniel pulled them inside, covering the entrance with fallen branches. Emily clung to him, shaking. "Dad, I'm scared." Daniel hugged her tightly. "I know, sweetheart. I know." Lyra sat against the wall, pale and exhausted. Her voice was weak but steady. "They will not give up. The ship above belongs to them." Daniel looked at her sharply. "What ship? Who are they?" She lowered her head. "Hunters. They come from far stars. My people trusted them and they destroyed us. I ran away with something they want." Emily's eyes widened. "Something? What is it?" Lyra pressed her small hand to her chest. "Inside me, a key. Power they cannot control. That is why they hunt me. If they catch me, Earth will fall too." Daniel's stomach turned. A child carrying something that powerful? It was impossible, but he had seen enough to believe her. He sat in silence, listening to the faint hum in the sky. He knew they didn't have much time. Night fell. The cave grew cold. Emily slept against Lyra's shoulder, both girls wrapped in a blanket. Daniel stayed awake, his shotgun across his lap. He thought about his life before this. Simple days, quiet nights, worries no bigger than bills and repairs. Now he was a fugitive, hunted by forces he could not even understand. Yet when he looked at his daughter holding Lyra like a sister, something stirred in his chest. He had no choice anymore. He couldn't abandon the girl. Not now. Outside, a beam of light swept across the forest. Voices shouted in the distance. The hunters were near again. Daniel gritted his teeth. Tomorrow they would have to keep moving. Tomorrow the chase would begin again, and above the clouds the massive ship still waited, watching like a predator in the dark. The cave was cold and damp, but it gave them one night of safety. Daniel sat awake near the entrance, his shotgun across his knees, his ears sharp for every sound. He could hear the distant hum of the ship above, heavy and unnatural, like thunder waiting in the clouds. Emily and Lyra were curled together under a blanket, asleep. The sight of his daughter hugging the alien girl made Daniel's chest ache. Emily's small hand rested protectively over Lyra's glowing fingers, as if she already saw her as a sister. At dawn, Daniel's eyes stung with exhaustion. He stepped outside the cave and looked at the sky. The ship still hung there, hidden partly by clouds. Its size was terrifying. It wasn't just watching, it was waiting. When he returned inside, Lyra was awake. She sat very still, her pale face serious, her glowing eyes softer than before. "Daniel," she whispered. "You must know the truth." He crouched down. "What truth?" Emily stirred, blinking awake. "What's happening?" Lyra looked at them both, her small hands trembling. "The hunters. They are not only soldiers. They are servants of something greater. They come for me because of what I carry inside." Daniel frowned. "You said that before." "A key, what does that mean?" Lyra pressed her palm against her chest, right above her heart. "My people. They made something powerful. A seed of light. It can heal, it can build, it can even destroy. We created it to protect us. But the hunters wanted it for war." Emily's mouth fell open. "And you have it?" Lyra nodded slowly. "When my world fell, my mother put the seed inside me. She told me to run, to live, to keep it safe." Daniel felt his throat tighten. A child carrying such a burden, it was unbearable. "So that's why they're after you," he said. "Not just to kill you. They want what's inside you." "Yes," Lyra whispered. "If they take it, Earth will burn. Your people will kneel or they will die. That is why I ran." Silence filled the cave. Emily reached out and hugged Lyra tightly. "You don't have to be scared anymore. We'll protect you." Daniel stared at his daughter. Protect her? How could they? Against enemies with ships and weapons beyond imagination. Yet when he looked into Emily's eyes, he saw no fear, only determination. He sighed heavily. "Then we have no choice. If they're after you, we can't keep running forever. We need a plan." But before he could say more, a strange sound echoed outside. A metallic hum followed by heavy footsteps. Daniel froze. Lyra's glowing eyes widened. "They are here." Daniel quickly pulled both girls deeper into the cave. He whispered, "Stay behind me. Don't make a sound." Shadows moved at the cave's mouth. Figures in black armor stepped inside, their helmets glowing with red lights. They carried weapons unlike anything Daniel had ever seen. One of them raised a scanner and it beeped loudly. He turned to the others. "The target is inside." Emily clutched her father's arm, trembling. Lyra's glow grew brighter, her breath sharp. Daniel's heart raced. He fired his shotgun. The blast echoed through the cave, knocking one soldier back. The others raised their weapons, blue energy flaring at the tips. Before they could fire, Lyra stood up. Her hands blazed with light. She shouted, her voice echoing in the stone. "No!" A wave of energy burst from her body. The soldiers flew backward as if struck by a storm. Their weapons cracked and sparked. The scanner shattered for a moment's silence. Smoke hung in the air. Lyra collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. Her glow dimmed, flickering. Daniel rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" Her eyes shone weakly. "I cannot use it for long. It drains me." Emily knelt beside her, holding her tightly. "Don't push yourself, Lyra, please." Daniel dragged the unconscious soldiers deeper into the cave, tying them with rope from his bag. He searched their pockets but found nothing human. only strange tools and silver cubes that hummed with energy. He sat back, sweat dripping down his face. His world had changed too fast. Guns and rope would not be enough. When he returned to the girls, Lyra's glow had dimmed almost completely. She looked fragile, like a candle about to burn out. Daniel asked softly, "If you keep fighting like this, will it kill you?" Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. "Maybe, but if I don't, they will take me, and then all of you die." Emily held her tighter. "No, you're family now. We'll never let them take you." Lyra's lips curved in a faint, tired smile. Family? Daniel watched them, his chest heavy. He had lost his wife years ago, and Emily had grown up with only him. Now here was another child, fragile yet extraordinary, who had found comfort in his daughter's arms. He didn't want to accept it, but he knew the truth. She was theirs now. That night, the three of them stayed hidden in the cave. Outside, the ship's low rumble grew louder, as if it was moving closer to the earth. Daniel couldn't sleep. He sat at the entrance, staring at the dark sky, listening to the sound of machines searching. Behind him, Emily and Lyra whispered softly, like sisters sharing secrets. But Daniel knew the truth burned brighter than any whisper. The hunters would never stop. And now, protecting one fragile child had become something far greater. It was no longer just about survival. It was about saving his daughter, saving this girl, and maybe saving the entire world. The night was endless. The cave shook with distant rumbling as the massive ship above moved slowly across the clouds. Daniel sat awake at the entrance, shotgun in his lap, eyes sharp. He knew the hunters would not stop. They would search every tree, every stone, every shadow until they found her. Behind him, Emily and Lyra slept side by side, their hands linked even in dreams. The soft glow in Lyra's eyes flickered like fading stars. Daniel's chest grew heavy at the sight. He thought of Emily's words the night before. She's family now. But what did it mean to protect family when doing so put them all in danger? At dawn, the answer came, the cave filled with a low hum. Dust shook from the ceiling. Outside, engines roared and voices shouted. Daniel rushed to the entrance and froze. Black vans surrounded the forest. Soldiers in dark armor moved quickly, scanning the area. Above, drones hovered, their red lights flashing like hunting eyes. "They've found us," Daniel whispered. Emily woke with a gasp. Lyra sat up weakly, clutching her chest. Her glow grew stronger with fear. Daniel turned to them. "We run, now!" They grabbed what little they had and fled through the back of the cave, climbing into the trees. Branches scratched their skin as they ran, but behind them the hunters were faster. Dogs barked. Weapons glowed. "Don't look back!" Daniel shouted, but Emily did. She saw soldiers breaking through the cave, their helmets shining with red light. She screamed and pulled Lyra closer. The chase cut through the forest. Daniel's lungs burned, his legs heavy, but he didn't stop. He pushed Emily forward, desperate. Then out of nowhere, a soldier stepped into their path, weapon raised. The blue glow of his gun lit the trees. Daniel fired his shotgun. The blast echoed, knocking the man back. But more came from every side. "Dad!" Emily cried. Daniel turned, pulling both girls behind him. "Run to the river, go!" But before they could move, a strange force slammed the ground. The trees bent. The air itself seemed to shake. A tall figure appeared, different from the soldiers. His armor was darker, sharper, marked with glowing red symbols. His eyes burned beneath his helmet like fire. Lyra gasped in terror. "Commander." Daniel tightened his grip on the shotgun. He could feel the danger radiating from this figure. This was no ordinary hunter. This was their leader. The commander's voice was cold, heavy, and cruel. "You cannot hide, child. The seed belongs to us. Come now, and I may let these humans live." Daniel stepped in front of the girls. "You're not taking her." The commander tilted his head. "A human protecting her? Foolish. You don't understand what she carries." "I don't care," Daniel growled. "She's my daughter now." Emily clutched Lyra's hand, her small voice breaking. "Dad, don't let them take her." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "If I stay, you die. If I go, you live." Daniel looked at her, his heart breaking. The child was ready to give herself up to protect them. But Emily shook her head violently. "No, you're my sister. We stay together." The commander raised his weapon. Energy crackled at the tip. "Enough. The choice is mine." In that moment, Daniel made his decision. He shoved Emily and Lyra behind a tree. His voice was firm, unshaken. "We fight together. No one is taking you from me," the commander fired. A stream of blue light ripped through the forest, exploding against the ground. Daniel rolled aside, pulling the girls with him. Lyra screamed, her glow erupting. Energy burst from her hands, clashing with the commander's attack. The ground split, trees fell, light blinded the forest. Emily held her sister tightly, crying, "Don't stop, Lyra. You can do it." Daniel fired his shotgun again and again, though it barely slowed the armored soldiers charging from behind. They surrounded them, weapons raised. The commander stepped closer, his voice like thunder. "You cannot win. Give her to me." Daniel stood tall, his shotgun empty, his body trembling. But his eyes burned with fire. "You'll have to kill me first," Lyra screamed again, her glow brighter than the sun. The wave of energy exploded outward, knocking soldiers to the ground. The commander staggered, his armor cracking, but the power drained her fast. She fell to her knees, gasping, the light in her eyes dimming. Daniel knelt beside her, holding her close. "Stay with me. Don't give up." Emily hugged them both, sobbing. "We're a family. Families don't leave each other." For a moment, even the commander hesitated, staring at them as if something in their bond disturbed him. Then his voice cut the air again. "You cannot fight forever. You will lose." Daniel glared up at him, his arm around both girls. "Maybe, but not today." The sound of helicopters roared above. Searchlights cut through the forest. The hunters regrouped, tightening their circle. Daniel knew the fight wasn't over. This was only the beginning, but in his heart his choice was clear now. He wasn't protecting just his daughter anymore. He was protecting both of them, two girls who had become his world, and he would not let anyone take them, not while he still had breath. The forest burned with light and smoke. The commander's soldiers regrouped, their weapons glowing, their red eyes cutting through the dark. Overhead, the massive ship opened its belly, casting a beam of white light onto the trees below. The ground shook with its power. Daniel stood with his shotgun, empty but firm in his hands. Emily clung to Lyra, who was weak, her glow fading. The child's breath was shallow, but her eyes still burned with determination. The commander raised his hand. "It ends now. Give me the seed or all of you die." Daniel's voice thundered back. "Then we die together." The words hung heavy in the night. Emily squeezed Lyra's hand, whispering through tears, "Don't leave me. Please don't leave me." The soldiers advanced. Daniel fired his last shell. The blast dropped one soldier, but the others kept coming. He swung the shotgun like a club, fighting with all his strength. Emily screamed as a soldier grabbed her. Lyra's eyes flared. With her last energy, she sent a wave of force, knocking the soldier away. But the power drained her completely. She collapsed against Emily's shoulder. The commander stepped forward, towering over them. His voice was cruel. "She is too weak. She belongs to us." Daniel stood in front of the girls, chest heaving, rage in his eyes. "She belongs to me, to us. She's family." The commander lifted his weapon. A beam of energy charged at its tip. The ship above hummed, preparing to strike. For a heartbeat, all seemed lost. Then Lyra raised her head. Her voice was weak but clear. "I will not let you hurt them." Her small hands glowed once more, brighter than ever before. The ground trembled. Stones rose into the air. Her entire body became a beacon of blue light. Emily cried, "Lyra, stop. It will kill you." Lyra's tears streamed down her glowing cheeks. "I have to. Because now, I have a home worth protecting." With a scream, she unleashed the full power of the seed. The forest exploded with light. Soldiers were thrown into the air. Their weapons shattered. The commander staggered back as cracks spread through his armor. The ship above trembled under the force. Its beam shattered into sparks. Alarms echoed across the sky. Daniel shielded Emily with his body, the light burning his eyes. He thought his heart would burst. When the light faded, silence filled the forest. Smoke rose from the ground. Trees lay broken. The commander knelt in the dirt, his armor shattered, sparks leaking from his body. He looked up at Lyra, rage and disbelief in his red eyes. "Impossible. You are only a child." Lyra stood trembling, her glow fading fast. A child, with a family. With those words, she sent one final burst of energy, striking the commander's chest. His armor cracked open, and with a scream of fury, he vanished in a storm of light. The silence that followed was heavy. Lyra collapsed. Her glow flickered like the last flame of a candle. Emily caught her in her arms, crying. Don't go, Lyra. Please stay with me. Daniel knelt beside them, his heart breaking. He touched Lyra's cold hand. You're safe now. You're home. Her lips curved in a weak smile.
Home?
She whispered. Her eyes closed, her glow fading completely. Emily sobbed, hugging her tightly. No, don't leave me. Daniel felt tears burn his eyes. He pulled both girls close, refusing to let go. Then something happened. A soft light spread from Lyra's chest. The seed glowed, pulsing gently. It spread warmth through the air, wrapping around them like a blanket. Emily gasped as the glow sank into her hands, then into Daniel's. Lyra's body trembled. Her eyes fluttered open, glowing once more, but softer, gentler. She whispered, The seed chose you too. We share it now. Emily laughed through her tears, hugging her tightly. You're alive. You're really alive. Daniel held them both, his chest heavy with relief. We're not losing you, not now. Not ever. Above, the great ship roared. Fires burned across its surface from the blast. Smaller vessels pulled away, retreating into the clouds. Daniel looked up, his jaw tight. They'll be back. Lyra leaned against Emily, her voice still weak. Yes, the fight is not finished. But we are together. That is our strength. Emily wiped her tears, holding her sister's hand tightly. Then let them come. We'll fight them all. Daniel nodded, his heart filled with a fire he had never felt before. We'll protect this family. No matter what. The night grew quiet again. The ship vanished into the stars, leaving behind only smoke and broken trees. Daniel. Emily and Lyra stood together in the ruins of the forest, battered but unbroken. Lyra's glow dimmed to a soft ember, no longer just a burden but a bond shared between them. She looked up at Daniel and Emily, whispering with peace in her voice, Now, I truly have a home. Daniel placed a hand on both girls' shoulders, his voice steady, And no one will take it from you. But as he spoke, he saw lights far above the horizon, dozens of them, ships breaking through the clouds, spreading across the stars. His jaw tightened. The war was only beginning. Yet for the first time he felt ready, because he was no longer fighting alone.